Hello everyone, I hope you are fine and doing well. In this video, we are going to see and talk about the recommendations letters that are required to submit specifically for Erasmus Mundus scholarship or any other scholarship. Usually the student gets confused like from whom they should ask for the recommendation letters and what they should include in those recommendation letters, okay? So maybe you are working after your graduation and now you are applying for the scholarship. You might be confused whether you should submit a scholarship a recommendation letter from your boss, or maybe you should ask your professors, or maybe you are still a student and you don't know whether you need a professional recommendation letter, or you should ask only your professors as well. So let's dig in because this is a very confusing matter, and I will be talking in this video about the way that you have to go forward with the recommendations, and as well as what those recommenders should write. Obviously you need to tell them what they should comment on your on the things you have, and what they should include, so that your recommendation letter stands out from the rest of your peer applicant, that actually increases your chances of selection in the scholarship program. So let me share my screen. So usually most of the programs, specifically in Erasmus Mundus scholarship, ask for 3 recommendation letters, and in those 3 recommendation letters, uh, you know if you are working after your graduation and you have been working for more than a year or maybe a year, you can ask for 1 recommendation letters from your boss, and rest and the 2 recommendation letter from the academic professors. Why? So obviously master is an academic program, right? So you need to include the recommendation letter from your professor so that they comment on your educational journey as well. But let's say if you are not working after your graduation and you are directly applying, so there is no harm submitting these 3 recommendation letters directly from your professors. And in the case of 2 recommendation letters, you can get one from your boss and one from academic. And if you are not working, you can directly submit the 2 recommendation letter from your professors. Now an important aspect is most of these programs actually have a criteria. Some programs ask you to submit the recommendation letters on your professor behalf, and sometimes the program asks you for the contact information of your professors, and they actually contact your professors, and they professors submit directly the recommendation letters on your behalf. So let me give you the example. So if you just go, these are the 2 programs. One is QEM, Quantitative Economics, and one is GLODEP, Global Development Policy. These 2 programs are a part of Erasmus Mundus programs. So for example, in this one, QEM, what they say, you have to provide the name and application, the name and details of the professors, and the program will contact those professors on your behalf, and they will actually submit directly the recommendation letters on your behalf to this program. But if you go to the GLODEP asks you that you have to submit the recommendation letters directly from the professors, and obviously they also ask you, both programs, that the recommendation letter needs to have an official stamp and contact details of the professor. Okay, so that's totally all right. So what I meant to say was like it really matters on the program whether the professors has to directly apply send the recommendation letters, or you have to submit the recommendation letters on their behalf. Now an important aspect is what should be the content of a recommendation letter, what the recommenders should write in your recommendation letter, so that your recommendation letter stands out as compared to rest of your applicant. An important aspect for this scholarship is that your professors, before I go into that, what the professors should include, an authentic thing is that you actually go to the website of the program you have selected and see if those programs has asked something particular from your professors. If that's the case, you actually copy that and send that to your professor. But in the case when the programs doesn't have any requirement, they do not mention that they are looking for something in the recommendation letters. So for example, in these 2 programs, they haven't mentioned except the contact details and official stamp and things like that. So in this case, what you have to do is you have to tell the professor that they need to comment on the following important things, like 5 to 6 things. First of all, they also need to comment, usually they comment on academics. With academics, they have to comment on your adaptability in your cross culture programs. They need to mention that in your let's say in your class there were multicultural people and you were very okay with adjusting with them, because obviously in this scholarship you will be meeting with, like, hundreds of other people from other countries as well. So if you are not very good in adaptability, that will be a problem for the program coordinators, so they need to know that. And secondly, they also need to comment that you are good in English, like maybe your interaction, maybe they can comment on a certain instance. Let's say you ask something or something like that, something question, or maybe you commented on something, they can comment on that anecdote and mention that anecdote. So they actually need to mention that you are good in English. Why? Because obviously you might not be giving a test, IELTS test. IELTS is not compulsory. You might be submitting a English proficiency certificate from your university. So in that case specifically, the English language proficiency is very important for a professor to comment on. And if I ask specifically mention the other things which the professor and your professional boss should comment on, which will be like explicitly written for that particular program. It shouldn't be generic one. If they are writing a generic one, you can ask for the Word document and you can change that, or you can just request them to add some other lines specifically related to that program. For example, if the program is related to economics and they are commenting on, let's say, if they are not mentioning economics in any ways, so that will be a problem. And one important thing is, obviously your professor needs to be relevant to the programs you're applying to. So let's say if my program was economics, your professors that are writing your recommendation letter should be economics professors as well. And definitely if the job is relevant to the program, let's say I am doing a consultant job, then that's relevant to my economics field. But if let's say I'm doing graphic designing, that's not relevant to my field, so there is no use of submitting up recommendation letter from my graphic designer post, because that's totally irrelevant. So it's very important for you to be particular who you are asking for recommendation letter, and specifically what they are going to write for you. Okay. And then obviously comment on your educational journey. And if the boss, they should also mention, obviously they will not be able to comment on our educational journey, but on the journey in your job, how professional you are in dealing with your colleagues, and how good you are in handling all this project, and how good you are in taking initiatives and in problem solving skills. So they need to comment on that. And if in the case of professors and in the boss, obviously they can comment on your analytical skills. Professor can comment on your class participation, and a merger of all these things. And in the end, both professors and the boss needs to comment on your personality, like how were your personality overall, whether you are good fit for this scholarship or not, whether you are good fit for international exposure or not, and things like that. So this is all you have to take care of, and this is very important that you actually ask the right person for recommendation, and ask for the right things to be included in the recommendation letters as well. So I hope you like the video and content of this video. I will be uploading a lot of more videos as well, which will be covering things in detail. So if you haven't subscribed the channel, do subscribe that, and stay in contact and stay in touch to this channel, and definitely you will receive one of the scholarship and secure one of the scholarship for your own self as well. So see you soon. Take care. Allah Hafiz.